Deuteronomy 5:7. Lo yihye lecha Elohim achirim al panai. Now we want to look at this. Now, first thing I want you to notice is the double accent system. So as we get into the Decalogue here, you're going to notice doubled accents here. So we'll come back and talk about that in just a second, but I don't want that to throw you off just as we're translating here. But what we have here is do not exist for yourselves, or it shall not exist for you, and the it is other gods. So other gods shall not exist for you over my face, or before me is how this traditionally gets understood. So let's look at the verb here. Notice I did an it right here on yihye because we're looking at a 3ms version of hayah. All right, so yihye. This usually will get ironed out as you shall not have, and that's okay, but I want to just point out that the actual verb is a 3ms. It shall not exist for you, perhaps a lamative advantage here. It shall not exist for your perceived advantage to have other gods. That's what shouldn't exist. And so other gods here is the thing that shouldn't exist, and notice that they agree in gender, number, and definiteness. And so this is indeed other gods, even though other follows gods. And then lastly, we have the prepositional phrase al panai, which literally we have is upon my face. This could refer to something like preference upon me or over me, if you prefer other gods over me, or it could just be simply presence before me, and that's usually how this one gets ironed out. Now let's talk for a second about the doubled accent system. You'll notice many of these words have two accents on them, and what we've got here is a preservation of two different reading traditions. This could deal with public versus private reading. It could deal with the exciting and joyous singing of what's called the upper cantillation marks over against the lower cantillation marks, as this was sung and read at Shavuot. Or it could also just be different versifications. So even the way the Ten Commandments are laid out and versified could be different here. But at the end of the day, we have two different accent systems working. It's difficult to know which one goes with which unless you're an expert in this field. So I would largely just say don't let it confuse you. Just look at the words as they are. But what we have here is the first, let it not exist for you, other gods. Let other gods not exist for you before me. And the me here in context is Yahweh, the one true God.